execution if there is an exception and if there is no exception. So this is a general structure of try and catch block. Slides are visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So suppose try has a statement and no exception in the statement. So which statement will be executed next? This one, or this one? Will it enter into the catch block, finally block, or directly to the next statement? There is no exception in the try block.
The next statement.
So as we have seen yesterday, finally block is there to close all the things that may be opened in your program. For example, if you have opened any files and exception is arised in between, so it is better to close a file before exiting the code. So those type of statements we can write in finally block, and finally block will be executed whether there is an exception or there is no exception. So if try block doesn't have any exception, it will go to the finally block and then next statement. So even if there is no exception, it will execute try block and control will be transferred to the finally block, and from finally block to the next statement. Catch statement will be skipped. Okay, in try block we have three statements, 1, 2 and 3, and in statement 2, okay, suppose an exception of type exception 1 is thrown in statement 2. So what is the next statement to get executed? Will it enter into the catch block? Or will it execute statement 3?
It won't execute statement 3 and
Correct.
enter into catch block.
Yes, it won't execute statement 3. Control will be directly transferred to the catch block. And after handling this exception, where will be the control go? Will it directly go to the next statement or finally statement?
The finally statement.
Yes, Gaurika. Control will go to the finally statement and then next statement. So finally will be executed if there is exception, otherwise there is no exception. So statement 2 thrown exception 1, exception of type exception 1. So it will be cached by this catch block. Catch block will handle this exception, display proper message, and after catch block, control will be transferred to finally and then next statement. Control will not transfer to the try block to execute statement 3. So this statement is unreachable code. It will not execute. Now, this try block has two catch blocks. Catch block 1 and catch block 2. Catch is handling exception of type exception 1. This is of type exception 2. Note that there is no such exception 1, exception 2 available in Java. This is just for your example. Exception 1 can be index out of bound, or exception 2 can be arithmetic exception, like this. Okay. So statement 2 thrown an exception of type exception 2. So what will be the flow of execution? Will it enter into this catch block? Or this catch block? And what about this throw? Will it go to the finally statement and next statement? So depending upon the type of exception type is exception 2. So whenever this statement throw an exception, the type of exception should match with the catch block. So this is of type exception 2. So this catch block will match with the exception type. It will handle the exception and it will throw an exception. So this is a rethrow, and rethrow must be handled by the calling function. So there should be a nested try block. If it is not there, then it will execute finally first and then search for another try, and if try is not present, it will throw an error. So first it will handle the exception of type 2 and execute finally block, rethrow exception and control transfer to the caller. Caller means the caller who is called this function. Slide is visible.
Yes,
Just,
ma'am.
just a quick test. Assume that all these 3 lines are commented. We didn't have anything in try block, or you can imagine a statement system.out.println. I am in a try block. So what will be the output? Try block just has one statement, printf statement in try block, and all these statements are commented. So what will be the output of this code? Will it print I am in a try block? You have to find the output of this code. I have to show you main also, right? This is a main. Main is calling function. From function, control will be transferred to this function. Function is throwing exception. So throws keyword is here. Try block. Try block, suppose it has a statement system.out.println I am in try. So will that statement will execute?
Yes.
Yes. Will it enter into the catch block?
No.
Yes. And will it execute this finally block?
Yes.
And last statement?
Yes.
So for condition 1, your output will be here, as I have not printed anything in try block, so that is not shown, but it will execute finally block and last statement for 0th case. Now case is 1, that means only return statement is there. In try block you have return statement. Do you know about return statement? This is a function, right? Function should return something. Now this function is returning void. If this function is integer, you can return integer value. Float, you can return float value. So this is a return statement. So if return statement is written in try block, so will it execute catch block, finally block, last statement, or directly go back to the main? You are in a try block and there is a return statement which is currently getting executed. So after return statement, note that you are in a try block, control will be transferred to finally, and then return statement will execute and control will be returned to the main function. It will not execute finally or last statement. It will execute finally because you are in a try block. Now if case 2, that means this statement is commented and you are executing this statement system.exit 0. Exit 0 is sudden exit. It will not execute finally also. You will get no output for this code. You are exiting from the system. Now suppose this is uncommented. In try block you have the statement throw new exception. So now it will enter into the catch block. It will execute statements in a catch block, then finally and last statement. So in case number 3, for return finally, and for case number 2, no output. And if it is 3A only, then you will get the same output as that of case 1, that is finally and last statement, same as 0. But for 3A plus 3B, you should get compile error, last statement not reachable. What is 3A and 3B? Means from catch, you are throwing a exception again. So here you are throwing an exception again from catch block, you are throwing that exception. So you should have catch block to catch that exception. Otherwise, this statement will not reachable. Let me show you that code. Code is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
The same program is written here. Only what I have did is in catch block, I have written in the catch block of main. From main function, we are calling function f. In function f, throws exception. So here we are using all 5 keywords. We are using throw to throw new exception from try block. Here we are using try statement, catch statement, and finally statement. So let's start with case number 0. Means we just have only one statement in try block, that is in try block. I added 2-3 more statements before try, and this is in the try block after throw statement. This is in the catch block. This is in the finally block. This is your last statement after try catch block. So now nothing in the try, only one statement which is not leading to any exception. So we'll check what is the output. So execution started from main, function is getting called. Control will be transferred to the function. You can see here system.out.println, before try this statement will execute. We'll get the output before try. So it has printed this before try. Then you are in a try block, system.out.println in try block, this will execute. So in the try block executed, you are still in the try block. This is start of the try and end of the try. So this statement will execute in the try block after throw. Note that throw is commented right now. So in try block you have only these 2 statements which are getting executed. So it has executed in the try block after throw, and control is transferred to finally directly. Catch statement is skipped as there is no throw. So you are in a catch finally block, and then it will execute last statement. This last statement is also executed. This was the output, last statement, and control is transferred to main. Now in main we have try catch block, but as nothing is thrown, so it will not execute this catch block and it will come out of the code. No next. So this is your output for 0th condition or 0th case. Now if case is 1, that is return 0. You are returning directly from try block. You said return. So after return, function control should go back to main, but before that it will execute finally block. It is showing error, unreachable statement for this, because this statement will not execute. After return, control will be transferred to main. So I have to comment this statement here. This is also not executed. In a try block, so it will show before try, in the try, and before try, in the try, and control is transferred to finally after execution of return statement. And from finally it will directly go to the main. So in finally block, even if nothing is thrown from the try and return statement, you are entering into the finally block. Now I am not able to show you the second condition, system.exit 0, as I am working on Python visualizer. It has this restriction. You can try the second condition on GDB editor or your own machine. So it will not show any output. Your program will be exited. It will just show before try and in the try block, these 2 statements. We'll see 3a. That is, if in try you have throw statement. Now after throw, control will be transferred to catch. So again this statement will not get executed, and as it is a Python visualizer, it will show me error unreachable statement. So I'm commenting this one. In the try, I'm commenting 3B. I didn't want to execute or re-throw the exception again. I just want to see what is the normal flow after exception is there. Function is called, it will display before try, then in the try block, and throw new exception. So after throw new exception, exception object is generated. You can see these two red lines. That means normal flow of execution is stopped and exception handler mechanism takes over. And now exception handling is executing. It has created an object of type exception, and now it has to search a matching catch block. So matching catch block is here, which will match with this type of exception. So it will display in the catch block, and even you entered into the catch block, control will transfer to finally block. It will execute in the finally block statement and last statement. If you didn't have commented last statement, it will be executed. It will not enter into this catch block as there is no second throw. So it will execute finally block. This is the comment, otherwise it has printed last statement and out. If I didn't have anything in the catch block and this last statement is not commented, and there is a rethrow, I'm throwing from the exception from catch block. So it will show an error, unreachable statement for this one. If I comment this, it will search for matching catch statement in a caller. So if we provide something in a caller, it will execute this. So here object is created of type X is an object of java.lang.exception instance. It is thrown, it is cached by this catch block. It will execute it and display output in the catch block. Now catch block is again throwing the exception. So another exception object is created and it will throw that exception, and this catch block will get executed in the catch block of main. So after this second throw, control will not transfer to the inner try, it will directly transfer to the calling function. So this function f is called from main, so it will search catch statement in main, and program is stopped. So is it clear what is the try, catch, throw, throws, and finally? Any
Yes,
queries
ma'am.
about this flow of execution? Now let's start with built-in exceptions. We'll see what are built-in exceptions first, and then we'll see what are custom exceptions.
Ma'am,
Yes?
what if we want to use a user-defined exception?
Yeah,
Can
I'm
we go
coming
by
to
this
that.
mode?
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
So we'll start with built-in exceptions. So built-in exceptions means these exceptions are available in JRE, Java Runtime Environment. It is in java.lang package, java.lang.exception class, java.lang.throwable class. And here you can find these classes: arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception we have seen for divide by zero error, but it can be used for arithmetic errors other than divide by zero too. Then array index out of bound exception, array index out of bound. If array is arrays, as we have seen, arrays are of fixed size. Their size cannot be enlarged or decremented. So if user is trying to access a location out of the bound, then this error will be, or exception is thrown by the system. Array store exception. So assignment to an array element of an incompatible type. That means you have created array of type integer and you are trying to store double value at that location. So it will throw array store exception. Class cast exception. Casting, you have seen typecasting, converting one data type to another. For example, you can convert integer to double or in float to double, that is typecasting. So if you are we have seen dynamic method dispatch, that is base class. You can create reference of base class and you can assign object of child class, and base class reference can call methods of child class using that particular reference. But if you are trying to call a method which is not from that particular class, or you are trying to assign the object which is not a subclass of a class, then it can show this class cast exception. Similarly, there are many inbuilt exceptions. You can go through this list: enum constant not present, illegal argument, illegal monitor state, illegal thread exception, index out of bound exception. Now this is array index out of bound. This is general index out of bound. Negative array size exception. Array size must be positive. If somebody or by mistake the size is initialized to negative value, then it can throw this exception. Null pointer exception, invalid use of null reference. Number format, so you are trying to convert string to numerical format, it can show this error. Security exceptions, if you attempt to violate a security, means and the file is restricted read only and somebody is trying to write or modify the contents of the file. String index out of bound, similar to array index out of bound, strings are also of fixed size, mutable, immutable, and you are trying to access an element out of the, or which is extending the length of the string, then this error or exception can be thrown. Type not present, unsupported operation, like this. So these are all different types of exceptions or built-in exceptions. There are some checked exceptions which are checked at compile time. That is class not found, clone not supported, illegal access, instantiation exception. If you are trying to instantiate an abstract class, it will throw the such exception. Okay, so you can go through this list and find out and try to use these exceptions in your code, how to catch these exceptions, how to handle these exceptions. Now let's start with what are custom exceptions. Custom means user defined exceptions. You can write your own exception. Like here you are getting error arithmetic exception, divide by 0. Just wait a minute, Nils. So there are situations where we didn't want to use inbuilt exceptions, or we want our specific exceptions to be generated with the proper message to the user or programmer. So in that case, we can go with custom exceptions. So when you create your own exception, that is called custom exception or user defined exception. Java custom exceptions are used to customize exception handling according to the programmer's need or user's need. So can you tell me any situation where you want to use your own exception? See, just to display a message of your own, we can write this through new arithmetic exception not valid, and it can print a message not valid or demo. But the exception it is printing is null pointer exception, or in this case it will print arithmetic exception and then not valid. But if instead of arithmetic exception you want your own exception, that is invalid age, your exception name should be invalid age. In that case, you have to create a class and you have to write toString function or super constructor. So let me explain you how to do this. So we have already seen this code in previous session. This is without using custom exception. We are using normal or inbuilt exception, that is arithmetic exception, but with our own message not valid. So here just we have used function validate integer age. If age is less than 18, we are throwing new arithmetic exception not valid string and welcome to the OAT. And if we give value more than 18, that is say 20, the program will be executed normally. Here note that we have not used exception handling, we have just used throw keyword. Exception handling will work only when you have caught this exception, that is using try and catch block. So it will call validate function with value 20. So age is 20. If age is less than 18, it will throw, otherwise it will print welcome to OAT. Just a normal function like C function or Java function. No error handling, no exception handling. Okay. So you got the output, welcome to OAT, and rest of the code. But if this age is less than 18, then it will throw arithmetic exception and your code will be stopped. It will not execute this rest of the code. So if age is less than 18, you can see the two red lines, exception object is created and it is thrown, and see next button is disabled as we didn't have provided try catch block. So it will stop. So how to, this is called exception is generated but not handled. So to handle this exception, either you need to provide try block here or here, invalidate function or the function who is calling this. Now here, how I can know that which exception I have to catch for this function? So it is better to write throws in a function definition. Throws arithmetic exception. That means you're telling a programmer that this function may throw arithmetic exception. May or may not, but it may throw arithmetic exception. So here in catch block, you can write arithmetic exception, say E1. And we have to handle this exception. And then rest of the code. Now still there is an exception, but now code will not stop in between. Program will execute properly. So age is less than 18, it will throw new exception. You can see these two red lines here. Yes, arithmetic exception is generated, not valid, but now we have provided catch block. So catch block will execute. It will print a message, you're too young to vote, and then rest of the code. So just see the difference between first example and second example. In first case, we just have validate statement without try catch block. But program is ended abruptly. It has not executed the statement, and you came out of the code. But after adding try catch block and providing exception handling, program is executed sequentially. But I didn't want this message. What was the output? It has printed. Okay, let me add here plus E1, that is tax trace, and we'll check the output again. I want you to differentiate between inbuilt exceptions and user defined exceptions. So after this, you are too young to vote, it has printed this E is type of exception. This type of exception is java.lang.arithmetic exception, and this not valid line that we passed here while creating this object of exception is printed here. So it can print our own message without creating our own exception, but exception is still arithmetic exception. I want this type of exception should be invalid age exception. And to do that, I have to create my own exception, that is custom. So let's create a class. Class invalid age. You can give any name for your exception, and it should extend exception. So all the type of exceptions must be the child of or subclasses of exception class. Now in this case, what you can do is you can use super keyword. Not valid. And that's it. This is your exception invalid age, and here you can throw exception invalid age. Invalid age, and that you have to catch here. Instead of arithmetic exception, which was inbuilt, we are using invalid age exception, which is our own. Now what this super keyword is doing here, I'll explain you. So this is how you have created your own exception. The rest of the code is same. Instead of arithmetic exception, we have used invalid age. Let's see whether it is working or not. Illegal startup type. Okay. Okay. You have to write a constructor. In that constructor, you have to call invalid age. In the constructor of your class, you are calling superclass constructor. So when you create this, it will call this exception. So this is a default constructor, or you can create parameterized constructor, and you can pass that string to super. So I'll explain you with default constructor first. Throw new invalid age. It is a simple way how we create any object. So this and this should match. So this is a constructor, and this constructor is calling superclass constructor, means constructor of exception. So validate function is called. Age is less than 18. So it will throw new invalid age. Note that here it is invalid age instead of arithmetic exception. And this is exception handling mechanism, which is getting executed as it it is not inbuilt exception. It is showing you the stack trace, how it is actually executing. So this throw new invalid age has created the object of type invalid age, and this constructor is called, and it will call super class constructor with the string not valid. You can pass any string of your choice. So it will create the object of type invalid age. So this throw new invalid age has created the object of type invalid age, and now the control will transfer to this function again, validate function, and then control will go to the catch block. So new invalid age exception is generated, object is created. It will match with this catch block. It will print you're too young to vote, and note that instead of arithmetic exception, it has shown invalid age and not valid, whatever the string that we pass to the super, and then rest of the code. If you want to create a constructor with string, that is you want to pass here not valid, like we have passed for arithmetic exception. So in this case, you need a string object or parameterized constructor, and you can pass this string to super. That's it. So you can create a constructor, default constructor or parameterized constructor for your exception. So if you can execute this code, you'll get the same output. I will not execute it step by step. We directly go to the end. Last statement. So you are too young to vote, invalid age, not valid. Same output, but now we have used parameterized constructor and rest of the code. This is one way. In a constructor, you can call superclass constructor, or what you can do is, here you create an object string str1 or str. In constructor, you can pass this string str1 is equal to s1. And so this string you initialize with the string of a user, whatever whenever user creates any object, and that string will be stored in s1, and that s1 you assign to this string, and here you have to return that string. So for that you create the object string toString. This is a function which is there in exception handler exception class, and you have to return this string. Return str1. So here instead of e1 in catch block, instead of e1 you have to call the function toString. It will call this function toString and display the message. Or here you can print, instead of returning this string, you can print the string system.out.println. This is another method to create custom exception. But super keyword is easiest one. You can just call a superclass constructor using super keyword. Okay, whenever you are using toString function, it should be public. So same code, validate age. Age is your underage. So less than 18, throw new exception. So exception handler mechanism takes place. Object is getting created. It is not showing that object and how object is getting created here. You can see string s1 is not valid, this, and this is a stack trace. str1 is null, message, everything is null. Now here you are in constructor, you are assigning this string s1 to str1, which is the string is not valid. Stack trace is the empty array, and cause is this current object. These are all inner things that compiler do while handling this exception. So it is executing internally, which is not known to the user. So it will print you are too young to vote, not valid, and rest of the code.
Ma'am?
So what it has print, e.toString, it has printed you are too young to vote and not valid, this string. Yes?
Ma'am, here the class name and the name used for exception both are same. So is it mandatory to use
Yeah.
in that manner?
Because you are creating this exception. Your class name should be that the way you want to create your exception. So
Okay.
you are using it here.
And ma'am, what is included in class exception?
Either you can just write, you need a constructor, either parameterize or default constructor. And from you in that constructor, you can just say super and the message. Or
Not that. Means like here we have written class invalid age extends exception.
hmm,
So what is included in class exception?
exception class has the methods toString or, okay, let me explain you what exception class has. Exception is inbuilt class in Java. So this class exception is in java.lang package, inbuilt class. So you can see this hierarchy. Topmost class in Java is object class, then throwable class, then exception. Exception extends throwable, throwable extends object. And it has this constructor null or default constructor. It has parameterized constructor which takes string as a parameter with a message. It constructs a new exception with detailed message. You can pass a message and throwable cause. Means construct a new exception with specific details of the message and cause, why that error occurred. So you can print that cause too. Or there is a protected, these methods are default. You can use any one of these constructor to create object of type exception. These are protected, which are used by the only the child class of exception class, that is enable suppression or writable stack trace, etc. And these are the methods in throwable class which is inherited by exception class. So we are not uh, will not require these methods, but only the toString method we are interested in. This toString method is normally used to convert anything into the string, means it will return a string. So that's why in our example we have used toString method. So toString method can take an object and return a string, or it can convert, or it is basically used to return a string. So you can see here public and string. It return type is string and it is not taking any parameters. So whenever you want to create your own exception, you have to create a class which extends exception. So let's take one more example. I'll start from this scratch. In case of bank, or what the example you want? Invalid number, if you are expecting only positive numbers from the user and if user entered a negative number. So class invalid number extends exception. So here just I'm creating a constructor invalid number, default constructor, and call a superclass constructor with this message number is negative. What are the message that you want to give to the user? So this is my custom exception, my own exception with a message. Now in main, suppose there is a class main. Here I want user to enter a number. So let me import java.util. No? I want scanner class. So I am creating object of scanner. System.in. I'll ask user to enter a number. Enter a number. Then I want integer number, integer m is equal to next int sc.nextInt. Is it correct? Then in try block, I'll check if n is less than 0. I want to throw invalid number exception. New invalid. Else we can print number is whatever the number. In catch block, we have to catch that particular exception, invalid number. And here I'll print system.out.println even. Very simple example, very basic, but in actual projects you have to create your own exception classes with more details. What is this? Next integer what? No such element exception. Okay, in Python visualizer, we cannot accept inputs. Okay, I'll just hard code this value instead of accepting it from the user. It has few restrictions. Is equal to, initially I'll give positive value, some positive value, say 10. So no exception, so it will just execute it properly and print the number is 10. But if this number is instead of positive, if it is negative, that is minus 10. So object of throw new invalid exception is created, and it will be cached by this catch block. This line will execute and you'll get the output invalid num, that is the name of your class, colon number is negative, that whatever we pass to this super keyword. So this is the output of our exception, and program has executed successfully, came out of the execution. Okay. So you can create your own exception by extending exception class, and you can create a constructor. That constructor can be default constructor. You can pass the string here itself, or you can ask pass the string while creating the object, that is parameterized constructor, and use a super keyword to create the exception. And whenever you can throw the object of your exception, that is invalid age exception, and you have to catch that particular exception. So instead of your exception keyword, you can use invalid age exception. And note that you can use exception because exception is super class of invalid age. So the object of this class can call the methods of this class. Any queries about custom exceptions or exception handling? With this, I can say that we have completed our syllabus for April 2. I can take tomorrow's lecture if you want to solve your queries or just to take the revision of all the units. About ESE,